Everything you've ever dreamed of, the life you want, the experiences you crave, the happiness you seek, it already exists. It's not something far away, but something right here, right now, just waiting for you to awaken it. It's a truth that has been echoed through spiritual traditions for centuries, and one person managed to uncover all of its secrets on his own. We've discovered those secrets, and we'll share them with you today. This is what Dr. Ernest Holmes discovered and how it changed his life completely. The infinite power within you. Holmes, the founder of the science of mind philosophy, taught that every single one of us possesses an incredible divine power to shape our reality. Whether we realize it or not, we are constantly in the process of creation, and the power that guides this process comes from something far greater than the limited self we often identify with. Holmes called it the universal mind, a presence that is everywhere and that includes within you. But this infinite power is much more complicated to control than we can imagine. If it were easy to do so, wouldn't everyone already be using the universal mind? That's why Holmes came up with a way to master it little by little. And that's what we will be teaching you now. Start by developing awareness. Have you ever had moments where everything seemed to just click, where the right opportunities fell into place, the perfect person showed up, or solutions seemed to appear out of thin air? That wasn't luck or coincidence. That was your connection to this infinite source of power in action. You were, in those moments, effortlessly aligned with something much larger than your everyday awareness. But what if I told you that this flow of alignment, this power to manifest, is not random, and you can tap into it intentionally? You see, Dr. Holmes believed that life is not something that happens to us. Rather, it's something we co-create with the divine. The key to manifesting your dream life lies in understanding this relationship and learning how to work with it. The process is simple, but its implications are profound. When you understand how to activate the God-given power within you, there are no limits to what you can manifest. But first, you have to awaken to the truth of who you really are. Throughout the ages, spiritual traditions have spoken of this awakening. In the Bible, it says, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." Luke chapter 17, verse 21. This isn't a distant paradise. It's a state of consciousness, an understanding that the divine power you seek already resides within. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu reminds us that the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The real power, the true essence of creation, can't be fully described in words. It must be felt, experienced, and embraced as part of our own being. But how do you do it? How do you activate this power and start manifesting your dream life now, not some far-off day in the future? Please realize that you're already using this power, whether you're aware of it or not. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is an act of creation. If your life doesn't look the way you want it to, it's not because the power isn't there. It's because you've been using it unconsciously, allowing old habits, limiting beliefs, and fear-based thinking to shape your reality. Dr. Holmes taught that to change your life, you must first change your mind. Imagine that your mind is like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant, whether they're seeds of joy, abundance, and love, or seeds of fear, doubt, and lack, will grow into the reality you experience. The universal mind is like the soil, infinitely fertile, always ready to grow whatever you plant. And the thoughts you plant, whether positive or negative, are the seeds that determine the harvest. This is why Holmes emphasized the importance of mental discipline. You can't let random or negative thoughts dominate your inner world and expect to manifest a life of joy and fulfillment. You must consciously choose the seeds you plant. This is where faith comes into play. Not blind faith in something outside of yourself, but a deep inner knowing that the power of the divine is flowing through you. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. In the words of Dr. Holmes, there is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. This power is always working in your favor, but you must direct it with intention. And how do you direct it? With clarity, conviction, and unwavering belief in the possibility of your dreams. Holmes often spoke about the importance of having a clear mental picture of what you want to manifest. You have to know what it looks like, feels like, and even smells like. The more vividly you can imagine your dream life, the more powerfully you can draw it into reality. Feel your dreams into existence. But it's not enough to just think about your dreams, you must feel them into existence. This is where many people get stuck. They may think positively, but deep down, they still hold on to feelings of doubt, fear, or unworthiness. Holmes taught that your feelings are the emotional fuel that drives your manifestations. If you want to manifest love, success, or abundance, you have to feel what it's like to already have those things. You have to embody the emotions of gratitude, joy, and fulfillment even before they show up in your outer world. This is the great secret of manifestation. It's not just about thinking your way to your dream life, it's about feeling your way there. And as you do, you align yourself with the universal mind, the infinite creative force that is always responding to the vibration you send out. You become a magnet for the very experiences, people, and opportunities that will make your dreams a reality. Next, we'll dive deeper into the practices that will help you harness this power, including specific techniques to shift your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. But for now, I invite you to simply sit with the realization that the power to manifest your dream life is already within you. It's not something you have to search for, it's something you have to awaken to. The divine is waiting to co-create with you, and the only question that remains is, are you ready to say yes to your dream life? Engage with the universal mind. Great, that means you're ready to learn more. Building on the foundation of these beliefs, Holmes' understanding of the spiritual journey shifts from mere acknowledgement of a higher power to active engagement with it. To make this easier to understand, see how heaven is almost always described as a faraway dimension only available to the most virtuous of all. Holmes breaks off with this idea. We are incarnations of the one spirit. Our souls are eternal, ever expanding and constantly evolving. This continuity of the soul, he argued, is not a static existence, but a dynamic journey toward greater understanding, growth, and alignment with the divine. The more we recognize this, the more we awaken to the idea that heaven, or the experience of ultimate peace and harmony, is not a distant reward, but something that exists within us. We experience it to the degree that we become aware of it. This idea flips the conventional understanding of heaven. It is not a place to be reached after death, but a state of consciousness we can tap into here and now. On top of that, Holmes taught that the manifest universe, the physical world we see, touch, and interact with, is the natural outcome of God's infinite self-knowingness. The universe, in this sense, is not separate from God, but is a living expression of divine intelligence. Just as the universe is an extension of God's self-awareness, so too are we as individuals extensions of that same creative force. This belief in the incarnation of the Spirit in all speaks to the profound potential that resides within each of us. We are not separate from this divine source. We are embodiments of it. Every thought and every action is an expression of that universal power, whether we are conscious of it or not. The ultimate goal of life, according to Holmes, is for us to separate with discord of every nature. This means freedom from suffering, pain, and imbalance, not as an abstract ideal, but as a tangible reality that is possible for everyone. Holmes did not see this as something unattainable or reserved for a few enlightened individuals. Instead, he believed it was the inevitable outcome of life itself, a goal that would surely be reached by all in time. This speaks to the inherent goodness of the universe and the idea that life, despite its challenges, is ultimately guiding us toward freedom and harmony. Unity is another central theme in Holmes's philosophy. The idea that the highest God and the innermost God is one God suggests that there is no separation between the divine force that governs the universe and the divine presence within each of us. This unity of all life means that the same creative intelligence that orchestrates the cosmos also lives within every human being. By recognizing this unity, we tap into a deeper understanding of our own potential. It's a call to see ourselves not as separate or small, but as integral parts of the greater whole, capable of accessing and channeling the same creative power that brought the universe into being. Perhaps one of the most practical aspects of Holmes's teachings is the idea that the universal spirit operates through a universal mind, which acts as the law of God. This universal mind is essentially the mechanism through which divine power is expressed in the world. It receives the impressions of our thoughts and brings them into form. This belief in the power of thought is central to Holmes's philosophy of manifestation. Our thoughts, when aligned with divine principles, have the power to shape our reality. We are surrounded by this creative mind, which is constantly responding to the quality of our thoughts, whether we are conscious of it or not. The life you live is God. But there's one key belief, chief among the rest, that could change your destiny forever. This is so well kept that not even Holmes's followers know of it. Ready to find out what it is? For Holmes, understanding that the life I live is God is the key to unlocking our full potential. When we recognize that our lives are not separate from the divine, but are active expressions of it, we begin to see ourselves in a new light. We are no longer bound by limitations or fear, but are empowered to manifest our dreams and live in alignment with our highest purpose. This is the essence of Holmes's teaching, the realization that within each of us lies the power to shape our reality, guided by the eternal presence of the divine. As we move deeper into Holmes's teachings, we will explore how this understanding of divine power and the creative mind can be harnessed to manifest our dream life, starting now. The idea that we are surrounded by a creative mind, constantly responding to our thoughts and intentions, is not only empowering, but also transformative. It shifts the way we approach life and reminds us that we are never powerless. Every thought we think, every intention we set, is actively influencing the world around us. But how do we truly activate this God-given power to manifest the life we desire? To explore this, let's take a deeper dive into how we can apply these principles in our everyday lives. It's important to remember that this isn't a magical or instant process. Holmes didn't teach that we simply need to wish for something and it will appear. Instead, he emphasized the importance of aligning our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the divine principles that govern the universe. This alignment is what unlocks the full potential of our creative power. One key aspect of Holmes's teachings is the role of faith and belief. He often spoke about how our beliefs shape our reality. If we believe in lack, we experience lack. If we believe in abundance, we experience abundance. This is not because there is an arbitrary force deciding who gets what, but because the creative mind responds to the quality of our thoughts and beliefs. Our external circumstances mirror our internal state. This means that if we want to manifest something in our lives, we must first believe that it is possible, and then we must align our thoughts and actions with that belief. This idea of belief shaping reality isn't unique to Holmes. In fact, it's a concept that can be traced back to many philosophers throughout history. One such philosopher, Ralph Waldo Emerson, is known for his powerful ideas on the law of compensation and self-reliance. Emerson believed that the universe is constantly seeking balance and that every action, whether good or bad, has a corresponding reaction. In his view, life is not random, but guided by a divine intelligence that ensures we are always compensated for our efforts. This idea is closely related to Holmes's teaching on the creative mind. Just as Holmes taught that our thoughts and actions directly influence our reality, Emerson believed that the universe rewards those who act with intention and integrity. Create your own destiny. Emerson also emphasized the importance of self-reliance, which ties into Holmes' teaching that we each have the power to create our own destiny. Self-reliance, in Emerson's view, is about trusting yourself, your intuition, and your connection to the divine. He believed that when we rely on external circumstances or other people for our sense of worth or security, we limit our potential. But when we trust in our own inner power, our connection to the divine within us, we become unstoppable. This is the essence of what Holmes taught as well, that we are not separate from the divine, but active participants in the unfolding of creation. By blending these teachings, we come to understand that manifesting our dream life is about more than just thinking positive thoughts. It's about truly believing in our own creative power and taking action that aligns with those beliefs. It's about having faith in the process, trusting that the universe is always working in our favor, and knowing that we have the ability to shape our reality through our thoughts, actions, and connection to the divine. As we move forward, we must also recognize that manifesting our dream life requires patience and persistence. Both Holmes and Emerson emphasized that while the universe is constantly responding to our thoughts and actions, it does so in divine timing. We may not always see immediate results, but that doesn't mean our efforts are in vain. Sometimes, the universe is working behind the scenes, arranging the perfect circumstances for our manifestation to come to fruition. Other times, we may need to adjust our thoughts and actions to bring them into greater alignment with the divine principles that guide the creative process. Ultimately, the power to manifest our dream life is within us. It's not something we need to earn or search for. It's already there, waiting to be activated. By aligning our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the divine principles taught by Holmes, and by trusting in the process as philosophers like Emerson have encouraged, we can begin to see real, tangible changes in our lives. It's not about controlling every detail or forcing outcomes, but about trusting in the creative process and knowing that we are always co-creators with the divine. At the core of Holmes's teachings was the idea that there was a golden thread of truth that ran through all the world's great religions, philosophies, and even science. This core concept, he discovered, was that all spiritual teachings, when stripped of dogma and cultural differences, point toward the same ultimate truth. There is a divine intelligence, a universal spirit that permeates all of existence. This divine intelligence is not separate from us, but is expressed through us and all of creation. This realization allowed Holmes to transcend the boundaries of individual religions and philosophies. He saw that, at their essence, all were pointing toward the same understanding of life, that we are all connected to something much greater than ourselves, and that we each have the power to tap into this universal force to shape our lives and manifest our desires. He also found parallels between these spiritual ideas and the then emerging discoveries in physics, such as quantum mechanics, which also pointed toward a universe that is interconnected and shaped by unseen forces. Holmes's belief in this core truth was revolutionary because it allowed him to bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and modern scientific understanding. He believed that spiritual principles could be verified through practice, just as scientific theories are tested in the laboratory. This idea brought a sense of empowerment to those who studied his teachings, because it meant that spiritual growth and transformation were not just matters of belief, but could be actively pursued and achieved. Holmes didn't ask his followers to blindly accept what he taught. Instead, he encouraged them to explore these ideas for themselves, to test them in their own lives, and to see the results. His approach made spirituality less about abstract dogma and more about personal discovery and practical application. He understood that people needed more than intellectual understanding. They needed to experience the truth of these principles in their everyday lives. This is what made his teachings so powerful. They weren't just ideas to be studied, but tools to be used in the process of living a fuller, more connected life. What Holmes was offering wasn't just a new way of thinking about spirituality. It was a new way of experiencing life itself. He believed that by aligning our thoughts and actions with the universal principles that he uncovered, we could access a deeper level of consciousness and tap into the creative force that shapes the universe. This was the essence of his teaching, the understanding that we are not passive observers of life, but active participants in the creative process. Now we'll delve deeper into how these ideas not only connect ancient spiritual wisdom with modern science, but also how they apply directly to our lives today. How can we, in the midst of modern challenges, use these timeless principles to shape our realities and manifest the life we truly desire? Holmes believed that the answers were already within us, waiting to be unlocked. His teachings offer a roadmap to discovering that inner power and learning to use it in a way that is both practical and transformative. In the end, Holmes's core concept becomes not just an abstract philosophical idea, but a practical guide for living a more empowered and meaningful life. Through his work, we learn that by understanding and applying the golden thread of truth that runs through all wisdom traditions, we can unlock the potential within us to create a life that is not only filled with purpose, but also aligned with the divine intelligence that shapes all things. Are you ready to use it to manifest your dream life? Let us know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.